Tonight, Candace is uncharacteristically calm.
The best part about not having kids is that you can just be a raging narcissist and do everything for yourself and only think about yourself.
Steve highlights the big issue with being single.
Nothing wrong with you being single at 30, but if you're happy, that's the problem.
And I'm disappointed in a TikToker's parents.
Her parents haven't told her to have children, damn it!
Why hello, my fellow apes.
And welcome back to LowFruit, where we may finally have sorted out our audio issues.
We have. This is much more
Aside from how I might sound
uncertain.
today, which is largely a result of a cold.
Yeah, you've got a cold, I've got a cold, and because we're both feeling under the weather, we thought, why not watch something that's going to make us feel worse?
Yeah.
You know?
Daily Wire. That will obviously solve all of our... No, it's going to make it worse. Yeah,
It's going to make it worse. It's definitely going to make it worse because you're not just going to see one member of the Daily Wire. No, they've gathered together...
I'm too ill to do this!
Yeah. They've gathered together. They've got Candace Owens, they've got Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles. They're sat together, got their cameras set up, they've got their legs up, they're smoking cigars because... You know, Knowles loves putting phallic items in his mouth, doesn't he? They're all sat around, it's pretentious as hell, and what they're doing is reviewing a TikTok video from a woman who is talking about the benefits of not having children. So,
Let's have a look at the circle of insufferable pricks.
Yeah, let's do this.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15.
By the way, I'm single and in my 30s. I still get up before 10:15, so I'm a little bit jealous right now.
I don't have children. I may be able to get up at 12.
Well, here's the other thing is obviously we're coming in. We've got single woman, no kids, under 30. Single man, no kids, over 30. Married man.
Yep.
No
Been in a
kids.
relationship
So
for 10 years. We don't want children.
Yep. So you don't want children.
Don't want children.
I wonder what they're gonna have to say about
They're not going to be happy about that, are they? Yeah.
But as a result of that, we're going to have now about every viewpoint you could expressed in this video.
Now, whenever I'm asked why I don't want children, which is quite rare, but Hannah, she gets asked all the damn time because, you know, she's a woman. That's the way it works with our culture. It's
Societal expectations.
Yeah, whenever I'm asked why I don't want children, which is an odd question in itself. It's like asking, why did you have children? It's a little bit invasive. They tend to get upset with any reason that you give.
Right.
Now, the reason I point this out is that seeing a woman here say, look, I don't have children and here's some of the benefits. People that have children know of these benefits. They talk about it. Some of them say, yeah, this is one of the sacrifices you make when you have children. It's not easy. That's the risk, that's what you do. And that's fine. But they will get very upset by hearing someone just talk about, yes, here's some of the benefits that we have. And, oh boy, are we going to get that from the Daily Wire crew.
Yeah, so I don't actually know anything about this video and the context behind it. I've never seen it. I'm assuming it's probably going to be in response to some questions of some sort.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
But essentially what you've just got here is a single woman who's basically saying why they're happy with the things the way they are.
Yep.
Which is perfectly fine. But let's continue.
Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out. And I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that.
So these are some of the benefits that everyone has, right? Everyone can go, you know what, I'm going to play a board game tonight. I'm going to chill out with some friends. But when you have children...
Games,
yeah. But when you have children, it's a little bit more difficult because going out to a gig, coming back late, you need to arrange a babysitter and things along these lines.
Well,
these are available
up till 10:30 on a Saturday where you've got kids that are going to be wanting to make
luck.
a mess sometime before then.
Precisely. Yeah. So, it's important to emphasise that she's just pointing out that these are benefits that you do have when you're single.
Yeah.
Or,
basically,
have no children.
By being single and having no kids, there are less responsibilities taking up my time and attention.
Which allows you to
on a weekend, which gives me more freedoms. Seems pretty straightforward so far.
And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone and I saw a picture of shakshuka and I thought, you know what sounds really good? maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today. Because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries. So I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to.
Well, before they get too angry about what she just said there, is I don't want to do anything else this Saturday. This Saturday, for me, is like the nicest thing. That's all she's really said there, which I totally get. There are weekends that come up, and I'm just like, I'm not going to talk to a single person today. I'm going to cozy up on my sofa, I'll watch some TV. And then there's other weekends where I'd rather do nothing else but go and have a look around an old castle.
That's...
And I have the freedom to do both of those things.
Yes. So she's just highlighting a simple fact that you get by not having children.
She's just like, I am in for a lazy day, and I don't want to do anything else, and it's glorious that I can take a lazy day.
And notice...
Perfectly fine.
She is not saying it's bad to have children. She is not saying that there's anything bad about that way of life.
She's
Nothing
not saying,
at all.
She's not saying a day different to the one I have planned is bad.
No, she's not. She's just saying, here's some of the benefits you have when you don't have children, and yet you could see from their faces that they are...
I think the thing is, as an introvert, the idea of just taking a lazy day off to sit and chill at home with no plans, they're the best. They are the best days, and I love doing them. Don't want to do it all day, every day, but when they come around, they're nice, and having the opportunity and freedoms to do that, great. I'm already like,
there's nothing wrong with what she just said.
Do what you want to do.
And bear in mind, a lot of these guys, they want to talk about liberty and being able to live your own life. Just bear that in mind as you watch what they have to say.
Well, the other thing is, generally, they say, do the things you want to do. Right? There's only obviously one exception. If it's going to cause harm to someone else.
Sure.
So if the thing you want to do for your weekend is go around punching strangers in the face, don't do that. But otherwise, do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. But they have a problem with people being happy.
They do.
Because this is the Daily Wire.
You're only allowed to be happy if you live according to how I see fit.
Yes, you're only happy if you're doing it the right way. And the right way is the way that I'm happy.
Nailed it.
Right. Let's have a look, shall we?
The most offensive part.
Guys, let's play a drinking game. Every time she says I, take a shot of whiskey.
We'd be every time she says shakshuka, you go shoplift from us.
Can I say
literally a narcissist.
So she's complaining about every time she says I, take a shot of whiskey and we'd all be dead. She's talking about what she's going to be doing on that day.
That's the point of the...
If I tell you about the things that I have planned for a day, I'm probably going to be using the pronoun I a lot.
Like...
Right, let me tell you about my day. Steve is going to... Just like, I'm not doing that, are we?
You know why she's doing this? She's trying to emphasise that it's narcissistic to not live life the way that Candace wants you to live.
What a piece of shit.
Great start.
The fact that they're annoyed annoys me because there's nothing wrong with what this woman has said so far.
Nope.
As the bully, can I just say something about this lady? First of all, I mean, obviously, I think most people know I got killed. I reposted that video. I had my own thought about it.
Oh, look at him making this video all about him already.
Oh, I made this video. Oh, take a shot. Take a shot. Oh, no.
What a narcissist.
I think my comment was pretty benign. I did call her stupid.
My comment was benign. I called her stupid.
Yeah, I mean, like, I gotta say, look at Matt right there. Such a narcissistic person. Look, the comment's pretty benign. He's just a narcissist.
You called her stupid.
Slightly harsh, but also probably not inaccurate.
And he's a twat. Slightly harsh, but definitely not inaccurate.
Oh yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, benign comment, really.
Yeah, very benign comment. Benign.
Yeah. I got killed over it. First of all, the left and the media, they said, well, she just wants privacy, leave her alone. She doesn't want all this attention. And then they proceeded to spend the next week talking about her.
So I will say very quickly, I very much doubt people are asking for her privacy when she posted a public video.
This is such typical narrative control from Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire. What they do is they normally say something bigoted, stupid, hateful. They get some backlash, and then they will recontextualize the context to make out that they're the victim, as if they're enemies, as if the left are just being stupid. It's
when
pathetic.
When they've asked you to leave her alone,
it's
probably because you've called her stupid for not living the life that you want her to live.
It's
probably got nothing to do with let her have privacy.
It will be because of the dumb comments you're making.
Probably you don't control her life and let her live her life.
But this is what they do. They'll receive a criticism, and rather than deal with a real criticism, they make out that it's something else. Matt Walsh is intellectually bankrupt. That's a benign comment. That's a benign comment, by the way.
That is a benign comment.
Thank you, cheers. Good.
The thing about intellectual bankruptcy is it kind of requires some sort of intellect in the first place.
Oh, good argument. Damn.
That's also a benign comment, just so.
That's a benign comment as well, yeah.
And doing articles about it because they just wanted to respect her privacy. But also, this woman is a burgeoning TikTok influencer. She has a podcast all about being single and childless and how great it is. And so I have bullied her. But of course, I've brought about the fate that all TikTok influencers dread by giving her a lot of attention. So it's a terrible thing that I did.
So when you say you brought her a lot of attention, what you mean is you were probably quite shitty to her, and then your fucking horde of reactionaries echoed your shitty comments.
Because what are we looking at right here?
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, no, it is that. Okay. But like, what we have is a situation where a woman has made a video just speaking about some of the benefits of being single, and particularly about being childless. Yep. That's all she's done. And what Matt has done is that's not acceptable to him. Women are meant to be a certain way. They're meant to have children. They're meant to do this. They're meant to do that. And so he's made a video where he's been a colossal prick towards her. And then when people have had the audacity to say, dude, what the hell are you doing? His response is to just twist the narrative so that it looks like, oh, it's just the left being extremists or weird and they're interfering. Like, if you listen to his narrative, it doesn't make sense. She's posted it on TikTok, as you were mentioning. She wants the views. That's the point of her making the content. I don't know how people listen to this nonsense and can't see that the narrative obviously doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm also there. It's like, right, what was... You've had some backlash, and that's going to be as a result of your criticism. Now, I don't know what your criticism is, but we've obviously got a base to work from. She's posted a video
the real point
about her day. Mm-hmm. That's all she did, and that's what you went to criticize. Now, if you were to post a video, Matt, about what your day was going to be, like I said, unless it's actually harming someone, they have nothing to say.
Yeah.
So if you were going to sit there and say, I'm going to go smoke a few cigarettes, and then I'm going to watch some TikTok videos to see what I can look at responding to.
Yeah.
Well, what have I got to say about that? Nothing. That's the thing you're doing with your day.
And the thing is, this is a great point. If you embody the values, which they claim to embody as well, which is about freedom and liberty, then get over it. It's like, when Matt says, oh, I'm going to church on Sunday. Good for you, man.
Yeah, whatever. I'm going to be looking after my kids all afternoon. Okay.
Yeah, or I can go, no, you're a dumb idiot. I can't believe you think that the wafer actually turns into Jesus's body. And then when people complain, I can go, well, Matt published it. Obviously wanted.
Yeah.
It's just this is Daily Wire, man. They just keep giving. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, he's probably going to sit there and complain that we've been giving him attention with this video.
Yeah.
All this, the benign comments like calling him a knob. Terrible, terrible things.
But I think the real point I wanted to make about this, that I also made in the tweet, was that, aside from the fact that she's promoting this lonely, terrible life.
Whoa! She's promoting a lonely, terrible life. I'm sorry, from what we've just got there, you know as much as I do, which is to say, fuck all.
Yeah, you don't know anything.
You know nothing about her life. You say lonely. Are you lonely just because you don't have kids? Steve, are you lonely?
No, I'm not lonely. I hang out with people. I enjoy my time. I hang out with my nieces and nephews. I hang out with friends and family. I have a good time.
You mean you don't just spend all day on your own?
No, I don't.
Every day.
Also, she went out to a Beyonce concert. What do you think she was doing there, like, on her
Other
own?
people there.
Like, no. Oh yeah.
There was a private
showing to Beyonce.
Even Beyonce wasn't there.
Who was
just
she
a screen
with? Has she got this idea that she just went out private viewing of Beyonce, getting drunk on her own?
Yeah.
Comes back, goes to the supermarket, doesn't hang out with a friend or anything, just goes to the supermarket, buys the food that she needs for this recipe that she's interested in, doesn't interact with a human being.
No.
What are you on about?
He doesn't know what she does in the rest of the week.
Doesn't have a
She
clue
could have an
what she does.
incredibly active week for all he knows. So to sit there and say, oh, the fact that, someone might spend a weekend learning a new recipe, watching some TV, going to a live show and having some drinks until the early morning in public.
Dude.
That's a lonely, terrible life.
You realise that
off.
He would think that you he would say that
mine's more lonely than that.
He would say that you've got a lonely life. He'd watch one of your videos in castles and go, this guy just goes to castles. He just goes to castles and he's
on his own in every video.
That's all he does. Every video he's on his own and he talks at a camera and that's all he does. God, he's probably got no life. All he talks about is bloody historical architecture, which is kind of true. But
no. Talked about historical events.
And video games about history.
And video games.
It's also like, if you are single and childless, and there are plenty of people who are 29 and 30 single and childless, maybe they don't want to be.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. If they don't, then there's ways forward with that. If they do want to be single and childless, well, that's quite an easy way forward. A little bit less effort involved in remaining single and childless.
Do something interesting with your time. You do have a lot of time, which can be an advantage. So I admit that you have a lot more free time if you're single and childless than I do as someone with 6 kids.
That's the point. That's the point she's raising. She has some more free time.
You don't know what she does with the rest of her time.
And you don't know what she does with the rest of her time.
She could have a fully booked, packed out 6 days of that week, and then she's come around to that Saturday. You know what? I'm just going to spend it on my own.
Yep.
You have nothing to work with. You know nothing about the rest of the week. And you're telling her to go do something with her life. You don't know what she does with that rest of that life. You don't have to be doing something to advance humanity
every single day.
Take a break.
She's also not having a go at you for having your 6 kids. She's like, fair enough. Like, I get it. Like, I'm just telling you what the benefits are of not having children. You just said right there, yes, you do get more free time. Okay, cool.
Isn't that all she's talking about?
That's all she's talking about. That's true. She's not belittling your lifestyle off refusing to use condoms.
So go out and do something, but instead of doing something...
Make a tasty breakfast. Not chuck sugar.
Yeah, make a tasty breakfast and then do something. But it's just...
Oh, he's looking about going, why don't you laugh at my joke, guys?
Make a different breakfast.
Oh no. Dude, we're going to be able to do whatever we want in nastiness in this video and just go, it's benign.
It's benign.
Why are you getting triggered, guys? Like, God, man, all I'm doing is being a colossal knob and you're getting triggered. Can't believe it. You're so weak.
It's just being a consumer. That's one of the big problems with the way they promote this being single childless is that they say, well, be single and childless and then devote all your extra time to being a really devoted consumer.
She did not say devote all your time to being a consumer. What she said is, today I'm going to stay in.
Yeah.
I'm going to cook a meal and I want to watch some TV.
It's that narrative control, man.
She's not telling you that's what you should be doing with your time or your life.
Nope.
She said that's what I want to do today. Not every day.
Not every day.
Not every weekend. Today.
And go to a Beyonce concert and watch reality TV. It's just a dead life.
Do you know the funny thing is?
Yeah.
Is some people would say, not having any time of your own, having to devote it all to the children, feeding them, teaching them, looking after them, go to bed, sleep, work, feed, all this. Some people would call that a dead life because you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living for someone else.
In fact, a lot of people I know that have children do say it is hard. You feel like you don't get any time to yourself, right? They get lots of wonderful things from having their children, but it isn't, you know, like, that's one of the things they say.
This exact thing can be just turned back onto
Absolutely.
him.
You know, let's just say that...
you turning up, being a twat on Twitter or whatever, telling other people that they're living their life incorrectly, and then going home to your kids, that's a dead life.
Yeah. And Matt will go... Okay, suppose that Matt says, I'm going to go watch a football game.
No, he doesn't do that. His hobbies are disparaging other people.
That's his hobby, that's very true. But what he'd do is, he'd go watch a football game, and then imagine the absurdity of someone reviewing that, going, what a dead life. This is all he does. Like, one, he's having a good time at the football game, presumably. And then two, it's not like he does that every day.
I'm assuming
does he think that this woman watches Beyonce at a live concert every day?
I'm assuming he never listens to music, never watches TV.
He's got no
never
personality.
Goes to any shows.
Yeah.
He has no personality, he has no personal hobbies. Because to do those things would be living a dead life.
Yeah, that'd be a dead life. No, all he does is he goes home and tries to create more children.
Worse than that, and this is what drives me crazy. It's I. There's nothing wrong with being 29 and single, and I think that's what they were trying to say. That conservatives are suggesting that you've done something wrong if you're 29 and single.
Oh,
so you've picked up on what the topic of the video is. There's nothing wrong with being 29 and single.
Candace,
and here's what I'm going to do today.
Did you not get the thing where Candace really screwed up there? What? This is a Daily Wire no. Since the whole trans thing, they're not allowed to use they as a pronoun. Just use they. Game over! Do.
That you've done something wrong if you're 29 and single. Nothing wrong with being 29 and single. I know tons of people that are 29 and single, people that are 30 and single, people that are 31 and single, whatever. It goes on and on.
So what's your problem then?
I've got to say, so far, it's weird to hear Candace talk and not want to...
Is Candace's problem then that someone is happy with being 29 and
single?
that's
the one. There's nothing wrong with you being single at 30, but if you're happy, that's the problem.
Or is it being happy enough to tell other people that you're happy being 29 and single?
Okay, so it's like, listen, I'm happy if you're happy, but don't tell anyone else.
Yeah. I seriously think Candace's issue here so far is that this woman has posted a video saying that she's happy being 29 and single. Because it's okay to be 29 and single.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that's happened is this person's posted a video saying why they're happy being 29 and single.
That's the problem. That's what we're seeing.
There's no failure. Maybe you didn't meet the right person. Things can go wrong. I get it. It's a hard society to date in.
Did you hear what she said there?
Go on.
She called it a failure.
Yeah.
So if you're single, you have failed somehow.
Yeah, that's this.
What about the people that choose to be single, Candace?
Yeah. It's not just the singleness as well. It's the point she's making actually pertains to childhood. To having children. Now, I don't want children. My wife doesn't want children. By Candace's view, that's a failure. You, because you're single at your age, and that makes you a failure. So what she's saying is, listen, it's okay to be 30, but you are a failure.
Just because you haven't met the right person.
But you are a failure.
Yeah, that's why I'm a failure, because I haven't met the right person.
These are such judgmental wankers. Just wankers. Like,
it's just awful.
Why did the Conservatives why are these the people that they go, that represents us? That's where we're going to stick our money.
The party of independent thought and freedoms.
Yeah, wants you to live precisely how they want.
If you're not living, married at 30, you have failed in some way.
Yeah. But no, seriously, right? It's more of a meta point, but I understand people will disagree with us on a plethora of topics, right? I totally get it. That's a normal thing. You're a conservative, I'm a liberal, fine. But how is it that you happily pay money to people like this, the Daily Wire, this institution, when what they say so portrays what your apparent values are?
Yes.
Like, how does this pass? How can they consistently make statements like this and not suffer a repercussion?
Now, I'm going to assume, because this is the Daily Wire, that I hear a lot of conservatives talking about how the left are authoritarian these days. as an authoritarian person on the left, why am I the one advocating for personal freedoms?
What's wrong is that what she's suggesting is that you should be a raging narcissist if you are single.
No! A raging narcissist. It's okay for you to be single at 30, right, and to have no children.
But if you are...
But you are a failure who's also a raging narcissist.
If you tell someone about your day, you're a raging narcissist.
Unless you're going home. Oh my God,
Steve. What did you do for New Year's?
Oh, I had a drink with some friends and played it.
Fucking raging
narcissist. Such a failure. I'm such a failure.
There are tons of things that you can do when you're single. You can go hang out with your nieces and your nephews. You can go, offer yourself to help kids that are tutoring at church.
You noticing how
Wait. Why has it got to be church for starters? But
yeah.
Right. I'm single. I don't have any kids. Therefore, I should spend my time around kids.
That's her logic.
What? What if?
Actually, no, I'm going to say that's their logic. She was fine with doing that.
What if you just fucking despise children?
Yeah.
Now, there are people out there that really do.
Yep.
And I'd argue for good reason. Kids can be really annoying.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to spend your time around children. What if, because we don't know, what if she's a teacher?
Yep.
And she spends her days around children?
This is a good example. My wife, she works at a special needs school. She's around children all the time. And what does she do with the rest of her time? She is a Girl Guide leader. She looks after me, which is a big one. That's very true.
But why she doesn't want any other children in her life.
But to be fair, that means, according to Candace's view, my wife's doing okay.
She's doing all right. She looks after children every day. She looks
after children every day. And so by her light, she's like, okay, you don't have children, so you are a failure, and you're a narcissist. But you are living life according to the way you want it.
But no, without being too distracting on the point, because obviously what you were getting at there was she teaches at school.
Yep.
And then she does girl guiding.
Yep.
On one of the evenings in the week. I can't remember which one.
Yep.
Why would you then want to spend your weekends with kids again?
Yeah.
You don't need to make your entire life about children.
And you also have the societal impact. Hannah would have made a massive impact in hundreds, perhaps thousands of children's lives. That's amazing, right? She is someone who has very much fulfilled that role. And having her own children is just going to do a tiny little dent into the impact she's had on the next generation. Yep. Meanwhile, Matt's spitting out 6 kids, and then he's just spending all of his time shitting on everyone else for his lifetime. Like, go home, Matt. Spend some time with your kids. The fact that you spend so much time, rattling off on other people's expressions of liberty, it's just narcissistic, man.
Well,
I can't.
You've done a few debates and discussions at schools and stuff now. Yeah. Why don't you do that every day?
Oh, yeah, that's probably what I should be doing with my entire life, isn't it? Yeah.
There are so many things you can do. She sits down and she basically says, the best part about not having kids is that you can just be a raging narcissist and do everything for yourself and only think about yourself and wake up at 10:15 or 11:15, whatever she says, which I just think is loser behavior.
All she said is, my plans for today are this, because I got in late last night, and I can do this because I don't have kids.
And what's her response? What's their response?
Loser behaviour.
Loser behaviour. Raging narcissist. What a failure of a human being.
I can have a chill day, therefore
That's benign, by the way.
I just can't get by that. I'm going to have a chill day, therefore narcissist. Candace, what the fuck are you doing?
And think about me all day. She speaks to the narcissistic culture that we are living in today.
Sorry, the person who's being narcissistic here is no doubt Candace. She is saying, you're not living life according to my view and the way that I see the world. And she's using this to call someone else a narcissist. It's projection.
And here's the real problem. The aspiration is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. It is in fact wrong to aspire to this life.
Who is to decide what is... For one, it's not a lifestyle.
It's a day.
It's a day.
It's a day.
Of her life, man. And then two, who are you to come down and say that it's wrong to live your life under the liberty that I'm apparently campaigning for because you don't live it according to the way that I see it? Fuck you, Ben.
It is wrong to aspire to this. There's nothing wrong with this is how your life turned out. Yes. There's nothing wrong with you haven't set the preconditions to make a different choice. But to say that we ought as a society to be apathetic about two possible aspirations. One is you're 29, you have a career, you don't have a career, you're married, you have kids, versus you're 29 and your life consists of you stay out till really late watching a Beyonce concert and then you get up at 10:30 and maybe make shakshuka and then watch like 8 hours of TV. Any society that is apathetic between these two choices is a failed society, period.
She isn't saying, Ben, you are to live life according to the way that she lives her life. She didn't make any statement about morality. She just said that these are some of the benefits I have from being single.
If she produced a video saying, you should be 29, single, childless, go out and party into the early hours after watching Beyonce,
I'd have a problem.
Then I'd have a problem. Yeah. She didn't say that.
Didn't say that at all. But
she just said, essentially, one great thing for me about not having children is today I can do things that I want to do. Yeah. And today, I don't want to do a lot.
And how has Ben interpreted this? He's looked at it and he said, one, she's making a moral statement, a normative statement. Yep. She isn't.
No.
He's then like comparing it with the way that he has a normative statement on the world. Well, you know, I don't care what your normative statement is. I know that your religious view is that she should be having children and that she should be living a certain way. I couldn't care less. It's up to her how she lives her life.
I've got an orc for Ben.
This isn't a lifestyle either. It's a day.
I've got an orc for Ben.
Yeah?
He shouldn't wear stupid hats and go to fucking stupid synagogues and churches and sit in rooms with other stupid people, denigrating other people's lifestyles.
That's objectively true, isn't it?
That is objectively true.
He should this not is just a fact.
He ought not be doing those things.
Can you believe it? This is all they do with their life.
Every
day they just get into a room and they do this.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, that is actually true. That is actually true. This is what they do. Yeah.
But can you, if I was serious and putting that out there, saying that, Ben, you ought not wear your silly cap, you ought not go to synagogue, you ought not do your videos with these people, you'd be right to throw that back in my face.
Yeah.
You'd be right to criticise me for telling you that you shouldn't be doing those things. Mm-hmm. Which is why we're quite annoyed at you here for doing that to someone who just said, I'm having a chill day.
Yep. And a further aspect of this is that he reiterated what Candace said. He said, there's nothing wrong with you not having your life according to how I see fit if, you know, that's just the way that it turned out. But if it's a conscious choice, that's wrong. Dude.
Ultimately, if you are religious or whatever, and you want to live your life by your religion, again, as long as it's not hurting anyone, you do you. You're allowed to do that. I, as an atheist that despises religion, I'm not going to restrict you from practicing your religion. I don't care what you do on Sundays. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. But leave that out of everyone else.
What the hell do you think that these guys would make if they were watching a video from a deacon or a friar or a nun? Someone who doesn't have children, someone who just goes, you know, I get up every day and I do this.
When they're 50 and childless.
50 and childless. They make an exception. They go, that's okay.
No, you know why it's okay?
Because they're serving the faith.
Well, they spend a lot of time with children.
They spend a lot of time with children.
In whichever way you want to take that.
A society relies on the idea that the better life, society does have things to say about what a better life looks like. I'm not talking about compulsion, I'm not talking about tyrannical compulsion, but of course, any functional civilization has to rely on the basis that there is such a thing as good versus bad.
I would say the good lives are those that leave those individuals the happiest while causing the least harm.
Sure, and because not everyone's built the same, different rules for different people.
Which means if you're happy having a family, have a family.
Yep.
If you're happy being a loner, be alone.
And I think it is true. I think it is true to be able to say most people, they are going to get the most happiness out of life if they have children and if they live according to something that's approximately similar to what Ben is espousing.
Yeah, but is that because they've been told that's what...
Part of it is. Part of it's cultural, part of it is societal, part of it would be the evolutionary drive and genetics, like fair enough. But the point is that we are a social species. We are a diverse species. There is a lot of differences in our psychological makeup. And it's easy, just as I can look at someone and go, wait, you don't like the same music as me? Okay. Like, I can look at someone and go, wait, you don't want to live life on my terms?
Well,
okay.
Well, what we discussed this before with, slightly off topic here, obviously, because gay people can't have children.
Yep.
Okay. Not conventionally, anyway. Nope. They can adopt, whatever.
Surrogacy.
But you can... They've even said it in this. There are other ways to advance the childhood of people in our societies without having children of your own.
Yep.
So you've done your work by doing these discussions at schools. Hannah's got her teaching. I've been invited along to several cub groups to do like talks on history and other things like that.
Yep.
So we have ways of caring for our society and its next generation without needing to have children of our own. So when you're starting to make then statements about what is good for society, the ultimate thing is obviously continuing the society, I'm assuming, in principle here. There are many, many ways of continuing that society. Like I said with gay people, is like we've seen it all throughout nature, because not every single animal in a group needs to get pregnant.
Yep.
You just need enough to look after the children. So, sorry, I feel like I've gone a little bit off topic.
No, it's a fair point.
What he said there has baffled me so completely.
And good choices versus bad choices. And guess what? A set of good choices is a set of choices that is directed toward a good end. And that good end is you should get married and you should have kids, and it is better for you to get married and have kids.
Now who's prescribing oughts on people's behaviour?
This is it. Her statement and her lifestyle, it's not even a lifestyle, it was just a day.
It was just a day. She didn't say she never wants to get married, never have children.
No, her disposition, right, on that one day, on the way that, on some of the benefits of being single and not having children at 30, that is such an egregious violation of the way that Ben demands she live her life. And he's made it explicit here. He's telling you, you should have children. Yes. You should live according to the way I see
He's put moral weight on being married and having kids.
Yeah. I don't think that he, or any of these people, can ever complain again when some left-leaning person disingenuously, or even in a fair way, just has a go at their character. Because that's what they're doing here with this one person on TikTok.
This is kind of what I was trying to get at a minute ago, with the society can still benefit with not all people having children. So what people, as far as I'm concerned, what people in a society should be doing is what makes them happy without harming others around them.
Yeah.
That's the only should when it comes to people's happiness.
Yep. And you're going to find that there's a significant overlap there because we're a product of evolution by natural selection.
There's going to be a huge proportion of people that are going to want to get married or have children, whatever. But it's only a should if that is a goal of yours, if that is going to be the thing that you want to do, if that is the thing that will make you happy. Otherwise, don't do it. How many kids have ended up with terrible childhoods because the parents didn't actually want to be together? I didn't mean to throw it.
Yeah? It's true.
But, these things where, especially when you've got, these religious mindsets where, people have sex, an accident happens, kids in the mix. For whatever reason, they didn't go through an abortion. Okay? If the parents are then forced to be together, despite them just not happy together, you're going to end up with kids with a terrible childhood.
I know that for a
fact. And a very, very unhappy family.
Yep.
And by his standards, that's a good thing to do.
You'll have a happy Ben. That's the key. That's the key. It will satiate their narcissism.
I hate these people.
It's better for your community for you to get married and have kids. This is a childless society. That's the biggest thing that you see.
And also, I think, just to build on your point, there's also, I talk about this all the time, and people say to me, well, are you saying that everyone is supposed to get married and have kids?
Ben just said they are.
Yeah, Ben did. Let's see if you agree, Matt.
Ben just said, yes, you are meant to get married and have kids. So, let's see, will there be a disagreement in the ranks?
Ooh. So my answer is that most people are supposed to. In fact, most people are called to. It's a responsibility that most of us have.
It's a responsibility now.
Call to. You're supposed to. This is genuinely a problem with the teleological aspect of many religious people.
Yes.
They have their intuitions and their own feelings about what's good for them, and they project it over to everyone else, and then they feel like they are justified, because they have God on their side, of telling people what they should and shouldn't do with their lives, with their private lives, with their ability to enjoy the world on their own terms. No, you must do it according to ours. It's amazing. You can just see that it goes from this religious perspective on teleological aspects to authoritarianism.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, isn't it? Because if I'm to adopt a sort of same thing of, right, I'm going to start now prescribing what people should do, okay? I'm going to start, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, our countries are vastly overpopulated. We're running low on resources on this planet. Mm-hmm. We are damaging this planet through climate change and all these other things. You should have less children, because by having less children, we can allow time to benefit. I'm not going to tell you should do that.
But the thing is that you're using like a teleological aspect.
But I'm working off of...
And if you was to do that, you're right. Like, you're making a teleological argument for how people should live their lives. They wouldn't accept you doing that. I, as a left-leaning person, wouldn't accept you doing that. And yet, like, this is perfectly kosher in these...
I can look at the world and sit there and go, we could probably do with populating it a little less than we are at the moment. Without telling people what they should be doing.
Not everyone, though. Some people have a different vocation. A minority of people.
I'm a Jew. I don't have to do that. Everyone should get married and have kids.
Well, there are some people. It just never happen. They try to, and it will never happen. And so, but here's the point.
So the only people that are not allowed are those that have tried to have children and they can't.
As long as you try.
As long as you try.
He's very different to Master Yoda.
In my view, every man is called to fatherhood. Every woman is called to motherhood.
No. Just no. Like, this isn't supported evolutionary, if you want to go down that route.
It's not supported evolutionary.
It's not even supported via the religion that he has. Catholicism has people
earlier,
with celibacy.
With priests, or maybe that's one of his exceptions.
It will be.
That'll be one of his...
It will be.
Will there be an exception?
Absolutely.
For 99% probably of men, fatherhood will take the form of traditional fatherhood, and for women, it'll take the form of traditional motherhood. For a few people, it'll take a different form, but it has to take some kind of form.
I don't know if he's thought about celibacy here.
I don't think he has.
No. But he would change his mind if you gave him that example. He'd be like, yeah, whatever the Pope says, done.
But what he's done is gone, 100% of people should be parents.
Yeah.
And 99% of those 100 will do it in a traditional manner.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the 1% is, adoptions and...
He's okay with adoptions. No, he's okay for adoptions for just straight couples.
Of course,
that's where he goes.
I thought he was against adoption.
No, it's okay if you're straight.
So maybe you never end up getting married, and you go and you're a missionary or something.
Hey, we got an exception.
The exception is that you fit my religious view.
The exception is that you're going around preaching the word of Jesus.
Yeah, that's the only exception.
And you're taking care of poor people. You go work at a hospital or something, but you take on a maternalistic or paternalistic role. The point is that we're all called to serve in that capacity in some way.
Maternal role.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not having children, you must have a maternal role.
Yeah. Even if you're not having kids, you must look after children in some manner.
That's his ought perspective.
Nah. I'll do once every so often. I'll go along and help something out.
No, you understand, Reece.
I'll do your. I'll help you set up your debates and discussions. I'll do the occasional cub thing and scout thing.
Hold
That's
up.
enough.
No. Ben has said that he just said, as a Jew, I'm allowed to say this. And Matt has just said, basically, as a Catholic, I'm allowed to say this. How do you contend with this mere statement?
As an atheist, fuck off.
We certainly are not called to just serve ourselves and amuse ourselves.
We're not allowed to amuse ourselves for a whole life. She wasn't talking about her entire life.
She wasn't.
She was talking about one day. One day! What's great is today I'm going to do things that I want to do, and I can do that because
that's what you do your whole life, and you're making ought statements about the way that I should be living my life. So I'm going to make ought statements about how you should be living your life. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
Isn't it insane? The degree we've gone to in this conversation.
Oh God, they're so fucking retarded. Benign.
You know, I tend to share Drew's pity and sympathy for this lady.
Pity
and sympathy for a person that's quite happy with their life.
So you got this video, she's saying, hey, you know, like, because I don't have children, it was quite cool. I could get up late after enjoying Beyonce concert, and I could make myself a recipe. It's one of the benefits of being, you know, single and not having children. And he's like, oh, sympathy.
Yeah.
I know you really should be living life on my terms.
There's people involved in this that I do have pity and sympathy for. It's their children.
Yeah, I do. Imagine the crap you have to deal with.
Well, imagine, like, the way they're going to go through life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're going to be about 200 years behind the rest of the world.
But the thing is that statistically, out of his 6 children, one of his children is probably going to have a higher likelihood of, say, being gay. Now, here's an interesting fact for you. I forget what it's called. It's like the maternal effect. But if a woman gives birth to a male, there's a set chance of that male being homosexual. It tends to be around 10%. The next male she has actually has an increase of quite a significant degree. I think it's about 11 or 12%. And then the next, it actually goes up. Now, what's interesting here...
Why might that be evolutionary speaking?
Is God wiring into them this sin? No. What's going on is evolution has selected so that some members of your society do not reproduce. Because
it's quite obvious, isn't it?
It's obvious
so
of what's going on.
You've got a growing family.
Yeah.
What can we do to make sure that that family is sustained? Yeah. Well, not all of them then need to reproduce again.
This is it.
Some of them can look after the other ones by being thing.
And
that would be what they're kind of getting at, I suppose, to the degree of looking after.
They would say they would have to look after the children,
yes,
but they would not accept them being gay.
No.
And that's like an element here.
That's true.
So they pick and choose the things they want.
What I was going to say is our society is large enough now that we actually have ways of having some people take on the responsibility or the role of looking after the kids without requiring every single person in the society to be contributive to that.
Here's the thing.
Like the play schools and things like that. They serve that role.
It's always been this way. So if you study social species, including anthropology and humans, alone parenting was a very popular thing. If you look at some of the cultures that we have evidence of, what would happen is you would just have women that feed all sorts of children. Allo parenting was a big part, and you would have members of the society where their entire job is to do something that's nothing to do with children.
Yeah.
Again, none of this is right. They're just describing what nature is, but like they'll appeal to nature for the reproductive element to take it for their own views, but they won't take the other things which contradict their view. It just falls apart with the most basic analysis. It surprises me. It genuinely surprises me that they can sit around like this and the Daily Wire viewers can look at this and think that this is good stuff. Oh, you're really showing this woman. You're putting her in her place.
Oh my God, yeah. There's got to be people in this audience that must have been, they really put that woman down.
Because she's coping. She's coping, really. And she's a creation of this. And so what bothers me is our culture is so insistent on appearing happy all the time.
Is he literally admitting that what bothers him is that she's happy?
Appearing happy. She's faking it.
She's lying. I see.
If you live a life that's not how Michael Knowles signs off, you're pretending. You're pretending to be happy.
What do you reckon, audience? Is she lying about being happy with having a relaxed day because there's no kids about?
Does her life...
We're never allowed to admit, that things aren't working out very well because it would cause us to check our assumptions.
So he is implying that she's lying about being happy?
Yep.
What a turd.
But what she says that's most wrong is she said, look, I have so much ease in my life. I don't have any obligations. Sleeping until 10:30 in the morning is what depressives do.
That literally seems like a depressed.
It is, yeah.
Okay, right. He doesn't even...
She just got back from a concert with Beyonce. She didn't say she gets up at 10:30 every day.
She slept in because she had a late night.
Yeah. And also, if she doesn't have children, she can live on her own curfew, right? It depends on her job, right? So if her job is something where she needs to be up early, then she'll be up early. If you don't have a job where time is dictated, such as mine, you will get up late because you'll go to bed late.
Well, that's another thing, actually. Isn't that funny? You get up probably 11 o'clock.
Sometimes, 10, 11.
Is that because you're depressive, or is that because you've worked till 2 a.m.?
Yeah, it's because my work schedule, I choose to split it up. So I get up, I do some work for a while, then I have a break, and then I do a little bit of work before bed.
There are people that do shift work that don't get home.
They're all depressed.
That don't get home till 6 a.m. So they sleep through until the middle of the afternoon.
How do they don't know anything about this woman? And they're sat here going,
he doesn't know anything about him. But obviously, he doesn't know anything about depression either. Right?
No.
So as someone who suffers from depression...
It's only because you're single.
Right? Yeah, there must be.
It's only because you don't spend all your time around kids. It's only because you don't live your life according to Ben Shapiro. Do continue. Yeah.
What would happen for me?
Absolute narcissist.
Is I'd wake up at like 6:30. So nice and early, can't be depressive. I've woken up at 6:30. I physically couldn't get out of bed till 11 because facing the world was too hard.
Yeah.
That's not sleeping in till 11. I've been awake. I've been awake for 4.5 hours. I've been awake for 4.5 hours. So when he says that her sleeping in after a late night is a sign of depression, the fuck, you don't know anything. Not only do you not know anything about her life, you just don't know anything.
No, you don't understand. They're all sat there. They've got their waistcoats on. All right? They're putting their legs up. They're smoking. They're looking really cool. They know what they're talking about. Of course they do. Of course they do. Look at them. Look, they even understand.
For sarcasm.
But you have given them what they wanted.
Oh, what a reaction, yeah.
No. The religious minds like this, these kinds of religious minds, these kinds of people's minds, what they do is they look at you and they go, Reese, actually was depressed, single, boom, done. That's all I need. That's how that works. That's completely sorted.
Well,
that's why he was depressed. It's because he wasn't living life according to what I think.
Just to tidy it up then, for like the cause behind my depression. Okay.
Oh, this is LowFruit, Reese. This is where we're going. We're going into the depths.
We're going into my problem.
Very well.
Is my God-given physical pain that I was in for like 2.5 years. Because I wasn't damn lonely. I wanted to be on the air. Yeah. I don't mean to drag it down when I talk about these things. I've never really even sort of mentioned any of this on anything. But we're probably going to have to cover that fucking Sargon one at some point.
Oh yeah, we're good for that, don't you worry.
Where he basically said, if you're depressed, just get over it.
Yep.
It is, yeah. But people have studied happiness for some millennia now. And to quote good old Uncle Aristotle again, like Aristotle has an answer. He says, happiness is excellent rational activity in accordance with virtue.
Okay, so Michael Knowles is their philosophy guy. This is why he says that the ontological argument is the best argument for God's existence, okay? No one says this, but that is where he's at, right? And what he'll do is he'll bring up Aristotle and he'll bring up things like this. First of all, Aristotle's view on what is the good life is very outdated. The view of the good life is actually much more...
He has a very different definition of what happiness is.
This is it. You define it as pleasure. Right? You say, have a pleasurable life. Whatever brings you happiness without hurting other people, that's the good life. That's eudaimonia, right?
If I will give a very base level definition of happiness as I understand it to be, is essentially an emotional state.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And obviously we consider it to be a positive emotional state.
Yep.
I'm trying to define the word happiness essentially, but it's based off of more of a euphoria, I suppose. Things that bring pleasure, but at its base, an emotional state.
Yeah, it is.
As far as I'm aware, Aristotle didn't think that.
No, Aristotle's view was that it's to do with virtue, and the way that he specifically cashed this out is that you have to exercise rationality. The problem is, and you'll know this from speaking with most people, they actually don't get out of rationalization what you and I get. They don't.
No.
So rationalizing things and having these kind of conversations is genuinely a necessity for my happiness. It is not a necessity for my wife. It is not a necessity for a lot of people. It just isn't.
Just obviously we'll talk about this a bit while she's
It's
not here.
evidently not a necessity for these frickin' circle jerk.
We'll talk about it a little bit while she's not here. All of our discussions about like logic and reason behind all these things, it bores her to tears.
Oh, she just goes, guys, go have it in the
Go
garden.
away.
And that is normal. That is really quite normal.
And the other thing is, for a lot of people, trying to break down and rationalise a thought that they've had on something can actually be distressing sometimes.
Oh, very much so.
Because it can undermine a longly held belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, rationalisation of a process or of a thing isn't necessarily something I would certainly describe as happiness.
Yep. And like this is, so it's an outdated view of happiness, but in
Seems to be a very
classic
unique
style, what
view of
happens
happiness.
is the theist will bring it up and go, look, this is in favour of ours. They won't present it as something that's like niche, even though it is.
Yeah.
And he won't do it with other stuff from Aristotle. For example, he won't say the universe is infinite.
I'll tell you what, he's defining happiness by Aristotle.
Yeah.
Has he got any other definitions of happiness that he's used? Because
If he doesn't-
he's almost suggesting that this is the mainstream one.
Yeah, which it's not.
We've had it figured out since the days of Aristotle.
Yes, yeah.
Behaviours in accordance with virtue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, but I bet if you ask anyone what is happiness,
Mm-hmm.
it is going to be an emotion-based, through pleasure, etc., etc. It's not going to have anything to do with achieving certain virtues.
He's going to have to bring up a second one as well, because if you just do it by it's about rationalisation. There's nothing to do with children there.
No, there is.
No.
If your virtue is having children.
No, but he
then
said
you're
that it's exercising rationality.
Yeah, you're rationalising a goal sort of thing. is
Yeah,
what I
but,
understood it
but
to
he
be.
has to somehow get. It has to be in children. That's not true.
Yeah, but if he's defining a goal that everyone should have,
Yeah.
being, or the virtue that everyone should have,
But-
is having children,
Yeah.
then a rational thing to do would be to have children.
But Aristotle doesn't say that.
No, I know.
Ar-
I know
Aris- yeah,
Aristotle doesn't,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what he's
I know.
done.
So he's like,
defined
saying,
having children as the virtue,
and then pinned,
and
so
therefore,
he's
as
went
a
out.
result of the virtue being that thing, what you ought to do is have children.
And activity is the key word there. It's not just a thing that you let happen to you. It's not just passive consumption and letting flickering images on a screen just hypnotize you all day long. It's doing something in an excellent way that's rational in accordance with virtue. And if she's preaching this anti-gospel to a lot of people on TikTok, on her podcast,
I'm sorry, ignoring the start of it, which I'm probably going to have to replay to figure out again.
Mm-hmm.
Preaching. She wasn't preaching.
She wasn't preaching at all. She was simply stating, this is some of the benefits I have.
it actually is our responsibility to say that's wrong.
It's a complete failure of her parents' generation. I'm not even going to blame her generation or her. It's a complete failure.
We were just sort of discussing off screen here. We keep pausing like every few seconds here. We're going to have to play them on and get them at the point.
But every
as soon as you go to
sentence-
let them play on, oh, it's a failure of their generation. It's a failure of her parents. Her parents haven't told her to have children, damn it!
Yeah, like, like they don't know this though. Like, what's her parents could be people that watch Ben Shapiro, and she could have a bad relationship with them.
That's
because,
it.
because
For all
her
they
parent-
know, her parents could be on her back every fucking day.
I
You
know.
should be having children.
You should be
Why
having
haven't you
children.
having? I want
And
to
that
meet
might
my
be what
grandchildren.
inspired her to go, you know what, I'm going to make a TikTok to talk about like actually some of the benefits of not having children. They don't know anything here.
I just, we thought we'll play on for a little bit longer. We'll see how far we can
Keep
get.
going,
And
yeah.
we just hit a wall immediately every time any of them open their mouths to start talking.
It's a complete failure because every generation has to impress on somebody. Parenthood and growing up, it is like Plato's cave because you can't experience it until you do it. Right? You have to have somebody from an older generation who did the thing and said, yeah, it was really hard because parenting is difficult. It's really difficult. I mean, I have 4, Matt has 6. Parenting is not easy. It is a difficult task. Your kids are a pain in the ass on a fairly regular basis.
So, isn't he now just proving her point?
Yes.
Kids are difficult. They're a pain in the ass on a regular basis. So one nice thing about not having children is I don't have to deal with that.
Yep. And she wasn't having a go at Ben for having children. She wasn't having a go at people for having children. She was just saying, here's one of the benefits. And they know it. But when they hear it from someone else who doesn't have children, all of a sudden you're
I wonder.
preaching to the world.
I wonder, Is it a jealousy?
It might be. It might be a weird...
Is it, I had to have children because
Yeah.
my religion told me I had to have children.
And so I'm bitter and angry
and
at the
I'm
fact
bitter
that
and
you don't.
annoyed that somebody else is having an easy time because they don't.
I don't know, man. I think it might be a thing for these people. Like, for some of them, it's got to be. Because how else are they such colossal pricks? How is it that they can be so disingenuous in their interpretation of something that's so vague and benign? Yeah, maybe it's just their modus operandi. Maybe they're just so annoyed with the lives that the religions have put them into. They're just these bitter balls of narcissistic rage that come along and they go, oh, I finally got 5 minutes free. Let's spend our 5 minutes free, not by going and making a recipe that we've wanted to make for a while, not by going to watch a concert. No, let's spend it by having a little circle jerk where we're just being pricks again.
I don't get to see Beyonce. I don't get to have a lie-in on a Saturday morning.
So upset.
You should be having children so that you live the life that I have, so you know how hard my life is.
Yep.
I don't. Well, I can't be asked. I feel like what Ben just left us with there is the perfect point to end this discussion.
I think
he knows exactly
Yeah.
what the issue is and why she did the video.
All right. So let's for the audience then, for our own sanity, for everyone all over the world.
That was 8 minutes.
Yeah, that was 8 minutes.
That was 8 minutes. That was hard to get through.
That was hard to get through. So let's recap the whole thing, okay? So you have a woman on TikTok.
Yeah.
She's made a video where she said, here's some of the benefits I have from being single.
Well, not even some of the benefits I have from being single. I don't have kids, and a nice thing that not having kids has allowed me to do is go out late last night, have a few drinks, lay in this morning, and now I'm going to have a chill day, learning to cook a new thing, and watching a bit of telly.
Now, this isn't a controversial statement. Everyone who has kids knows that that is one of the things you lose when you have children. You don't get quite the same freedom.
Get a babysitter to book so they can have a day away from it.
Precisely. So she's not made a statement that is controversial. She hasn't made a moral judgment on those that have children. She hasn't said anything in the normative.
There's no, you ought to be living life the way I live it.
No, nothing along those lines whatsoever. It's a benign statement. And the response we have...
An actually benign statement, not a Matt Walsh benign.
Yeah, not a Matt Walsh benign statement. And as a response, they've got round in a circle. They've got like the bald-headed dude that no one knows because he never speaks. And then they've got the other people.
I thought you were talking about me, and then he never speaks. That's definitely not me.
And then you've got Matt Walsh narrative controlling because he's been an absolute arsehole to this person who doesn't deserve it. Then you've got Candace Owens being a colossal arsehole, so, you know, her normal self. Sorry, their normal self.
That's all of them, so you're not defining them as any different here.
This is true. Then you've got Ben Shapiro. And like what Ben Shapiro is doing is saying, oh, I'm also a colossal prick, but don't worry, I'm Jewish, I'm allowed to be. These people know nothing about the fundamental elements of humanity. They don't know about evolution by natural selection. They don't understand the nuances. They've just got the bigoted, barbaric views that tends to be a literal interpretation of fundamentalist religion. And they have the audacity to sit in a circle and wank each other off while being colossal pricks to the rest of the world. And when someone has the audacity to just say, you're a prick, they go into narrative control and they spin it. Like, brilliant.
I'm sorry,
but don't worry, Reese. You and I, like, we've got like this budget situation going on. They have millions of pounds being pumped into this crap so that they can just... what's wrong with the world?
What gets me is this really just shows that you don't have to be gay or trans or anything like that for these people to hate you.
They just will.
They will.
They just
over
hate
the
you.
smallest things.
Yeah.
If you have a life that's easier than theirs, they hate you.
Yep.
If you don't have the same religion that they do, they hate you.
Yep.
If you don't have the same values that they do, they hate you.
Yep. It's got to the point that if you get up and you go, oh, I got up late and I decided to go and do a recipe.
If you have a lie,
raging narcissist, you know, like you're a terrible human being. You'll preach.
Well, that's it. Is look at the accusations they've thrown on her. They've said that she's a loser with a terrible life. Yep. She must be lonely. She's a narcissist.
Yeah.
She's immoral.
Immoral. Yeah. Immoral. She's unhappy and depressed.
Look, all the things that they've thrown on this woman when they know nothing. Like I say, it's not just they know nothing about her.
No.
They know nothing in general.
They know nothing in general, straight across the board. If you ever needed an example of how irrational, he said about rationality, this is not rational. This is just...
You know how we covered the guy who complained about angry atheists?
Mm. Yeah.
This is why we get angry.
Oh, yeah.
This is why we get angry, because there is no need for this level of just vileness being spewed onto someone who said nothing other than, I want to have a chilled out day today.
Well, I've got an interesting question for you then. It's said that with or without religion, you'll have good people doing good things and bad people doing bad things. Now, you can extrapolate this out to ideologies in general, that's fine.
Yeah.
Now, all of them are justifying their views because of their religions.
Yeah. And I think it just perfectly demonstrates that, doesn't it?
Do you think so? Like, I guess what I'm asking is, with or without religion, would Matt be a prick?
He'd probably be a prick.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if he'd be able to be a prick about some of these things.
Yeah, agreed. Candace Owens, would she be a prick?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yep, I think so. And then Ben Shapiro.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, I guess in this extent, they just use it as the best. It's just it solidifies
the thing is,
their dogma.
Where is it directed?
Yeah.
And how frequently is it directed?
Yeah.
And with these people, it's all the time.
It is.
It's all the time.
All the damn
and
time.
just about everyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got nothing else to say about this fucking gaggle of pillocks.
No.
You know, they're just awful, awful people.
Yeah.
There was nothing in this video, in that video that we saw at the beginning, that deserves their response. Nothing.
But join us next time when we see someone on TikTok talk about finding a nice little coin from the Roman era while going out with his metal detection, and then these guys going completely nuts because he's not fucking someone and having children all the time. Fair?
Probably, something like that. Oh, Alex, how did you do it, man? Anyway, all the best, guys. See you soon.
See you soon.